Joining me now is esteemed geologist and author Professor Ian Plimer. Ian, let's start in Victoria. The government here is going to penalise farmers who deny access to their land for the construction of the $4 billion VNI West transmission project. Now, this map shows where the proposed transmission lines would go. That's in blue, and the red squares mark where farmers have denied use of their land for the project. Ian, obviously there's a lot of resistance. Do landholders have the right to refuse access? And what would this mean for the affected properties to have this line on their land?
It takes a lot to upset farmers, and this is really serious. They have freehold land, they have been farmers for a very long period of time, and all of a sudden they're being told by city-based people with clipboards, oh no, wait a minute, you can't go farming. We want to put these great lines through your property. These are lines which we're putting in because we've totally stuffed up the electricity system and we need to try to put band-aids on it. They have every right to complain. They're being absolutely and totally bulldozed by city-based government bureaucrats, and they have enough problems battling the weather, battling the prices, battling the difficult conditions they work under. Why should they be battling bureaucrats with inefficient power systems, which we have known for a long while are far too expensive? And here we have a bankrupt Victorian government wanting to spend even more money. And rather than sorting out the power system, they're wanting to bully and bulldoze the farmers, and they're wanting to fine them. That's just not good enough. And I think farmers should get up in arms about this, because if it happens to your neighbour, it's going to happen to you.
Well, farmers can be fined for just taking down signs on their own land, signs put up by this body. It's incredible. Now, let's go to the UK, and King Charles has put himself in charge of saving the planet. His role as head of nation and state has been redefined to include 4 new focus areas. These include national unity, community impact, environmental sustainability and cultural heritage. Ian, what do you make of this? We all know King Charles has long been a greenie. He has said some radical things in the past, and this seems to be something that I think he would be very happy with, this role being redefined to include sustainability and environmental activism, essentially.
Well, I think he's got to have a very serious look at his position. It's not the role for the king to be involved in political issues. It's not the role for the king to express any political issues. And we should all guess which way the king would think on a political issue. Now, that's not the case. And in the past, we've had difficulties with people in the royal family expressing opinions which are strong political opinions. Now, that's exactly what he's doing. He has to be head of the church, which is a very strong political organisation in the UK. He also has to be comforting people in times of distress. And maybe he should, instead of comforting the environment, be concerned about the people in England who are getting overrun by immigrants, who are getting poorer and poorer, and who are losing their cultural identity. So I think he's got some bigger tasks to be involved in.
And who are in energy poverty. A remarkable proportion of the country experiences what they call energy poverty, where they cannot afford their bills, they cannot afford their utilities.
Pensioners in the UK have to make a choice between having a warm shower, having a heater on, or being able to cook a meal. Now, that for a country as prosperous as England is wrong. And he maybe should be concerned, if he's a real greenie, about the clearing of the land to put in wind turbines, the clearing of the land and the destruction of farmland that's been farmed for thousands of years to put in solar panels in a country where you very, very rarely see the sun. Maybe he should be concerned about the environmental damage that the environmental movement through their wind turbines and their solar panels are causing. So I think he's way off beam.
Well, he has to be, like you said, completely apolitical, and that was one of the great things about his mother, the late Queen. You never knew where she stood on a political issue because she was so good about being a unifier, not being political in any way.
But you certainly knew where the Duke of Edinburgh stood. He read my books. I snuck them through the mandarins through one of his Navy mates. They used to have a drink together, and he'd bring in a book for Prince Philip, and I would get a letter from Prince Philip commenting on the book. So Prince Philip and his daughter, Princess Anne, certainly make their views known. But they are not the king. They were not the king.
They are not the king. Professor Plimer, fascinating. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you.